Tension is a mask you wear. Relaxation is your true essence. When you stop playing roles and simply allow yourself to be, the inner struggle disappears. Mindful living is the practice of being present here and now. Research confirms that it reduces stress, improves concentration, and changes the brain. It's not a trend but a path to harmony. Although the modern world has only recently discovered the practice of mindfulness, its roots go back to ancient times. Over 500 years ago, the Buddha taught his followers the art of being present in the current moment, a fundamental principle that is confirmed by neuroscience today. The essence of mindfulness lies in the radical acceptance of reality as it is, without attempting to change or judge it. It is a state of pure observation where we stop dividing experiences into good and bad and simply allow life to flow through us. Numerous studies prove the remarkable effectiveness of this practice. It lowers cortisol levels, increases gray matter density in the brain, and significantly improves the quality of life. However, like any skill, mindfulness requires regular training. Only systematic practice allows you to rewire automatic reactions and gain true freedom from patterned thinking. For those who want to integrate mindfulness into their daily lives, we have prepared 11 proven principles. These simple yet profound practices will help you stay present in the most ordinary situations, from morning coffee to evening relaxation. Among them are mindful breathing as an anchor in moments of stress, gratitude practice to shift attention to the positive, and stop moments to exit automatic mode. The principle of one thing at a time is particularly important. Countering the modern epidemic of multitasking, it is important to understand that mindfulness is not about achieving a special state, but a natural ability that we simply rediscover within ourselves. Start small. Choose one principle and practice it for a week, gradually expanding your mindful presence to all areas of life. First, the only reality you have is the present moment. Only here, only now. This principle, so clearly explained by the ancient wisdom of the Buddha, reminds us of the importance of being fully present in the current moment. The past is gone, leaving only memories that are often distorted by our perception. The future has not yet arrived, and any plans or dreams about it remain mere projections of the mind. The only thing that truly exists is what is happening to you right now, at this very moment. When we realize this simple truth, life ceases to be a series of regrets about the past and anxieties about the future, transforming into a series of mindful moments filled with meaning and clarity. The practice of mindfulness teaches us not only to understand this truth intellectually, but also to live it in our daily lives. When we are fully present in the current moment, even the most ordinary actions, a breath, a step, a smile, become mindful and filled. This does not mean we must abandon memories or plans, but it is important not to let them distract us from reality. The present moment is the door to authentic life, to a deep understanding of oneself and the world around us. When we learn to live here and now, we open up an inexhaustible source of inner peace, clarity, and joy that has always been with us, but often goes unnoticed in the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Second, thoughts are just clouds passing through the sky of your consciousness. They have no power over you until you decide to accept them as truth, like the wind blowing leaves. The mind generates ideas, fleeting, changeable, impermanent. Suffering begins not from the thoughts themselves, but from clinging to them, allowing them to dictate your state. You are like a boat adrift on a river of anxieties. Instead of remaining on the shore, observing the flow from a distance, mindfulness teaches us to be observers, not participants. In this inner spectacle, when you stop identifying with every passing bee of the mind, they lose their power. You are no longer obliged to follow the swarm of obsessive ideas. You can simply stand and watch as they buzz around, without getting involved in their chaos. This is freedom, understanding that you are not your thoughts, but the one who notices them. And then even the darkest ideas dissipate like morning fog in the sun. If you pause for a moment and simply observe the flow of your thoughts, you will make a surprising discovery. The very fact that you can observe them from the outside proves that you are not your thoughts. It is like the sky watching the passing clouds, remaining clear and untouched. Eckhart Tolle beautifully expressed this idea. What a liberation to realize that the voice in your head is not you. Then who are you? The one who is aware. At this moment comes a deep understanding of your true nature. You become that silent witness who is always present behind all thoughts, emotions, and experiences. This realization brings incredible freedom. If you are not your inner dialogue, you do not need to fight or try to control it. You can simply observe how thoughts appear and disappear, without getting involved in their content. It is like watching a movie, understanding that you are not the characters on the screen, but the viewer in the audience. Such detached observation does not make life emotionless. On the contrary, it frees up a tremendous amount of energy that we usually spend on inner conflicts. And then, in the silence between thoughts, your true I begins to manifest. Pure, whole, and free. Third, anger is like a poison you drink, hoping to harm another. You don't need to wait for external punishment. The anger itself becomes your punishment, destroying your inner peace. Yes, each of us sometimes loses our composure. It's human nature. But if you look closely, in 99% of cases, rage does not solve problems. It only creates new ones. Getting angry is easy. It's an automatic reaction that requires zero effort, like the strike of a match. But true strength is shown not in the burst of emotions, but in the ability to maintain clarity of thought and direct energy into constructive channels. When we truly realize that the present is the only space where we truly live, anger loses its meaning. Life is fleeting, and spending precious moments on destructive emotions is like burning the only book of your destiny without even reading it. As Lao Tzu wisely noted, the greatest warrior wins without anger. Their strength lies in tranquility. Akin to the depths of the ocean, waves may rage on the surface, but deep within, there is always calm. True bravery is not in shouting, but in actions taken with a cool mind and a warm heart. Fourth, inner harmony is a state where you stop seeking validation of your worth from the external world. You no longer need someone to approve of your actions or admire you because you already know who you are. Most people spend a tremendous amount of energy worrying about what others think of them. But the truth is that others' opinions are merely projections of their own fears, beliefs, and limitations. As Osho wrote, when someone talks about you, they are actually talking about themselves, their perception of the world, their expectations, and prejudices. You are you, and no one's judgments can change your essence. Why, then, do we react so painfully to others' opinions? Because somewhere within us lies the illusion that we need approval, that without it, we are incomplete. This is like clinging to an imaginary rope that keeps us captive to others' expectations. But when you realize that this rope exists only in your mind, you gain freedom. You are no longer obliged to meet someone else's standards, to justify yourself, or to prove your significance. You simply live, following your inner compass. And this is the most honest and liberating form of existence. This false center always depends on others, because it is so important to you what others say and think about you. You look at them. You try to gain their approval. You want to look respectable. You want to embellish your ego. This is actual suicide. Instead of looking at what and who said about you, look inside yourself. Every time you feel awkward, you simply show that you are ashamed of yourself because you do not know who you are. And if you knew, you would never have such problems. You do not need others' opinions. When you worry about how you appear in the eyes of others, remember that it doesn't matter at all. The fact that you are ashamed of yourself indicates that you have not yet known yourself. You are not yet home. Fifth, everything in this world is born twice. First in the space of your consciousness, and then it materializes in reality. Our mind is a creative workshop where ideas, images, and intentions are formed, which are later embodied in actions. The truth is that you cannot move forward effectively until your mind clearly envisions the final goal. Just as an architect first creates a blueprint before starting construction, we must first understand our desires, develop a plan, and only then proceed to implementation. Mahatma Gandhi wisely noted, "The future depends on what you do today." But before acting, it is important to understand where and why you are going. Your thoughts today are the seeds of tomorrow's achievements. When you realize the power of your thinking, life ceases to be a series of coincidences. Every significant victory, every achievement first existed in someone's mind as a dream, and then became a reality through persistence and belief. Your brain is a compass that guides you to your goals, but only if you clearly set the course. Without an inner map, a clear vision, and concrete steps, it is easy to lose your way. Therefore, the first and most important stage of any endeavor is working with consciousness, clearly formulating intentions, visualizing the result, and believing in the possibility of achieving it. As Henry Ford said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." Your reality begins with your thoughts. Sixth, life is a journey that each of us must undertake alone. And on this journey, difficulties and trials are inevitable. No one can avoid them. But there is one thing that always remains within our power: our will, our decision to make an effort to overcome any obstacle. Your happiness should not depend on external circumstances because its source is within you. As the Buddha said, "No one can save us but ourselves. No one can do it for us, no matter how much they want to. We must walk our own path, relying on our own strength, and only then will we find true freedom and happiness." Seventh, life is not a theater where you have to play roles to please the audience. If you believe in something but do not embody it in your actions, you betray yourself. Do not conform to others' expectations, like a branch bending in the wind, just to gain approval. The world is full of people who want you to fit their ideas, but your true strength lies in remaining true to yourself. Listen to your inner voice, even if it whispers to go against the current. What matters most is not how others perceive you, but how honest you are with yourself. Your actions speak louder than any words, and when you live in accordance with your beliefs, the opinions of others lose their power over you. Today, tomorrow, always, you are you. No one can be you better than yourself. As Dr. Seuss said, "This is your uniqueness and strength." Do not seek validation of your worth from outside. It already lives within you. Eighth, the right path and the easy path are different paths. Between a comfortable trail and the true path lies a chasm. Easy roads create comfort, but it is the difficult ones that shape us entirely. Every stumbling block, every mountain climb in your journey is not an obstacle, but a workshop for the soul. Experience is the only teacher whose lessons truly change us. And for this, it is worth walking, even when your feet beg to stop, when the path seems unbearably difficult. Remember, these are the parts that make you stronger. Difficulties are not a signal to give up, but proof that you are moving in the right direction. The most valuable things never lie by the roadside. They must be earned through ascent. As the Buddha said, "Only those who dare to seek the truth through the thorns of doubt truly understand the taste of life. The rest merely exist in the shadow of their own fears." Your path is your strength. Every step, even the heaviest, brings you closer to your true self, the person you were born to be. Ninth, if you truly aspire to gain something valuable from life, you must recognize a fundamental law of existence. Nothing significant comes for free. Every genuine victory, every deep satisfaction requires a price. Your time, effort, and sometimes real sacrifices. Most people spend years agonizing over questions like, what is my purpose? And what makes me happy? But this only leads them in circles. A far more productive question is, what am I willing to suffer for? This willingness to pay the price becomes your true compass. When you discover a cause for which you are willing to endure discomfort, overcome obstacles, and invest effort day after day, that is when you find not just a hobby, but a meaning that fills your days with authentic significance. As Eckhart Tolle wisely noted, life always provides the exact experience needed for the growth of your consciousness. At any given moment, not random, not abstract, but precisely tailored and personalized. How can you distinguish this necessary experience from mere life coincidences? The criterion is surprisingly simple. It is always what is happening to you here and now. Not dreams about the future, not regrets about the past, but the concrete situation you find yourself in today. Perhaps it is a challenging project at work that demands all your attention, or a difficult conversation with a loved one that you have been avoiding. Or maybe it is an internal conflict that you have been putting off. Right now, at this very moment, you are given a unique opportunity to pay your price, to make an effort, show courage, and make a choice. And when you pay this price with an open heart, life returns the favor manifold, not in the form of promised rewards, but in something far more valuable: your inner transformation, the very evolutionary leap of consciousness. That is the ultimate reward on this journey. 10th, the modern cult of productivity has turned our lives into an endless race where achievements have become the new religion, and burnout is a sign of belonging to the chosen ones. But nature is wiser than our ambitions. It has created the rhythm of day and night, the changing of the seasons, the ebb and flow of tides. When we try to fill every minute with action, we go against this natural harmony. Open your planners. Those long to-do lists are not plans but recipes for burnout. Each crossed outline creates a false sense of progress, but in reality, it turns us into hamsters in a wheel. True effectiveness is born not from the quantity of tasks completed, but from conscious choice. One important task, one focus of attention, one step at a time. Just as a seed germinates in the silence of the earth, so do great achievements mature in the space of focused tranquility. We deny the obvious. Rest is not a betrayal of our goals, but a condition for their achievement. The world will not collapse if you stop. Moreover, it will reveal itself to you anew, with the aroma of morning coffee, the laughter of a child, the play of light in a puddle after the rain. Stop clinging to the illusion of control. Life is a river, not a spreadsheet. You can desperately row against the current, or you can learn to feel its flow. As Steve Maraboli advises, when you release tension, a paradox occurs. What seemed unattainable suddenly becomes within reach, not because you did more, but because you finally allowed yourself to be, not seem, alive. 11th, when you try to control everything, you lose the ability to feel life. This is the paradox. The tighter you clench your fists, trying to hold onto the illusion of stability, the more the essence of existence slips away. We make plans, create schedules, and hedge risks, and yet life regularly surprises us. Isn't it amusing that the brightest moments often come precisely when everything goes not according to plan? A wedding caught in a downpour, a business trip where you lose your luggage but find friends, an illness that teaches you to appreciate an ordinary morning. Comfort is a mirage we chase like a desert traveler chasing an oasis. But real life happens precisely where our control ends. Accept a simple truth. You are not the conductor of the universal orchestra, but a listener to the beautiful symphony of chance. When you stop clinging to imaginary levers of control, a miracle happens. You begin to notice how the leaves whisper with the wind, how a stranger's random smile warms the soul, how the most ordinary days suddenly fill with meaning. Not control, but trust. This is the key. Trust that life is wiser than your worries. That every surprise is not a system error but an important part of it. As Alan Watts wrote, the only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it. Move with it. And join the dance. Try today. For just an hour. Not to control, but to observe. Not to plan, but to feel. And you will be surprised at how many more colors there are in the world when you stop looking at it through the narrow slit of your expectations.